All right, this is 5-4 that we'll do in a couple days also, dividing polynomials. We're going to start with long division. So if you are a math dork like me and Mrs. McKinney, you will like this lesson. It is fun. So we're going to rewind in your life a little bit, though, first and go back to elementary school long division. You guys probably haven't done this in a really long time, but the process is very similar. So if I want to take 357 and divide it by 2, long division style, I'd say, how many times does 2 go into 357? So then remember the game that you play is you start with that number on the outside and you say, how many times does 2 go into 3 without busting it, right? So 2 goes into 3 once, so the 1 went on top. Then you multiply, so 1 times 2 is 2, and then you subtract off the amount that you use. So 3 minus 2 is 1. Then you drop down the next number, 5, and you go through the same process again and again. So now how many times does 2 go into 15 would be 7. So 7 goes on top. So then if you use 7 2s, 7 times 2 is 14. You subtract off the 14. 15 minus 14 is 1. Then we bring down the next number of 7. So now we're saying how many times does 2 go into 17, which would be 8. So if you're using 8 2s, 8 times 2 is 16. So we subtract off the 16 and we get 1. So you learn different ways to do this in elementary school. When you started, since there's no more numbers to bring down, you would have said remainder 1, right? Or you can write it as a fraction, 178, and then your fraction would be your remainder goes on top, what you were dividing by goes on the bottom. Then you got into the decimal, but that's not how the polynomial long division goes. So we're either going to write our remainder or we'll write it as a fraction. All right, so here come the polynomials at you. Get it? We have x squared minus 3x minus 40 divided by x plus 5. So we want to see how many times does x plus 5 go into x squared minus 3x minus 40. Because then this is a way you can find other factors, right? If x plus 5 goes in evenly, we know it's a factor. And then what's left over is also a factor. All right, so the question you ask yourself is how many times x plus 5 goes in? So what you do is you look at the first term on the outside, the current first term on the inside, x squared. So you have x, and you think x times what would give you x squared, right? That would be x. X times x is x squared. So it's the x that goes on top. So then you have to do, just like with the numbers, x times what you were dividing by, x plus 5. So x times x plus 5, write my thoughts over here, is x squared plus 5x. So that's what I write here, x squared plus 5x. But this is what I want to subtract off, and this is where the mistake comes. So I have to subtract the x squared, but not just that term. I also have to subtract the 5x, because you're subtracting everything. So don't just write it on that x squared out front. So then your x squareds cancel. Negative 3x minus 5x is negative 8x. And we bring down the minus 40. And we play the game again. So now we have x on the outside still. That's never going to change. But now our first term inside is negative 8x. So we ask ourselves, x times what is going to equal negative 8x? That would be negative 8. So what's going in up here? Minus 8. So then to figure out what we're going to subtract off, negative 8 times x plus 5. So negative 8 times x is negative 8x. Negative 8 times 5 is negative 40. So I've got negative 8x minus 40. But I have to subtract this. So when I subtract a negative 8, it goes positive. When I subtract a negative 40, it goes positive. So these cancel out, and I have 0, which means my remainder is 0. So when I divide, the answer I get is x minus 8, which means x plus 5 and x minus 8 are both factors of x squared minus 3x minus 40 because they both divide in evenly. All right, let's try again. So x cubed plus 3x squared minus x plus 2 divided by x minus 1. So we want to see how many times x minus 1 goes into x cubed plus 3x squared minus x plus 2. Here we go. So we say x times what is x cubed? That would be x squared. I'm going to write it for you one more time. X times what is x cubed? That's how we get x squared. So then we have to do x squared times x minus 1. So that would be x cubed minus x squared. So what we're taking off, x cubed minus x squared. But I have to subtract it all. So I subtract x cubed, I subtract negative x squared, so it goes positive. And I clean it up. So 3x squared and x squared would be 4x squared. And then bring down minus x plus 2. Play again. X times what is 4x squared? So x times what is 4x squared would be 4x. So then I have to do 4x, write it up here, plus 4x times x minus 1. So I get 4x squared minus 4x. So I'm taking off 4x squared minus 4x. So I subtract that, all of it. So I subtract 4x squared. When I subtract negative 4x, it goes positive. Cancel and clean. So negative x and 4x is 3x. We still have plus 2. So now the game is x times what is 3x. So x times what is 3x would be 3. So up here I'm going plus 3. And then I'm subtracting off, well, what is 3 times x minus 1? I get 3x minus 3. So I'm subtracting off 3x minus 3, right? But this would go plus 3. So I have 3x minus 3. So I have to subtract the 3x. I subtract the negative 3, which makes it go positive. So then I can see these cancel out. The remainder is 5. I know that's the remainder. There's nothing else to bring down. And also, I can't answer the question, x times what is 5? No. So our answer here would be x squared plus 4x plus 3. We can go remainder 5. So sometimes that's how Math Excel is going to ask for it. The other way you would write your answer, I'll go over here. We have x squared plus 4x plus 3 plus remainder is 5 over what you were dividing by, x minus 1. So 2 possibilities of how you could write your answer there. All right, let's try another one. So here we're seeing how many times does x plus 2 go into 3x cubed plus 9x squared plus 8x plus 4. Here we go. So question, x times what is 3x cubed would be 3x squared. So now I multiply 3x squared times x plus 2. So 3x squared times x is 3x cubed. 3x squared times 2 is 6x squared. Subtract it all, so I subtract 3, subtract 6. I meant to scribble that. All right, that first term should always cancel out. If not, you didn't choose right. So 9x squared minus 6x squared is 3x squared. And then we still have plus 8x plus 4. We play again. Now it is x times what is 3x squared would be positive 3x. So now 3x times x plus 2 would be 3x squared plus 6x. Subtract them both, so they both go negative. So bye-bye first term, 8x minus 6x is 2x, still have plus 4. Go again. X times what is 2x would be positive 2. 2 times x plus 2 would be 2x plus 4. I subtract both of those, I end up with a remainder of 0. So the answer to this would be 3x squared plus 3x plus 2. Which means that's a factor of the original question, and so is x plus 2. That is polynomial long division. We will learn tomorrow something called synthetic division, which is a kind of shortcut way to do long division.